We are a juvenile species, just beginning to learn how to use our thumbs and how to use language. And considering that this early on, we managed to turn out Johann Sebastian Bach, I think we've done pretty well. I think the thing that music is describing for us is not that secondary aspect of living. When it's done right, I think what it is describing is the actual operation of consciousness. We listen to Bach transfixed because this is listening to a human mind.
The organ in Bach's time was probably one of the most, or if not the most elaborate mechanism that existed. Bach was helping his great-uncle, Christoph, to maintain the instrument, and so on the one side he was a great help to his great-uncle, but on the other side he was also able to learn and to become an organ technician himself. I think you could almost compare a Bach a little bit like a computer geek these days. I mean, he really knew his stuff. It's very difficult to describe the guts of the organ because it is such a complex mechanism. And I mean, you would see pipes of all kinds of different shapes, of all kinds of different materials, wooden pipes, metal pipes. You would see trackers that are going from the key to the valve. Bach was hired as a consultant throughout Germany to design instruments, to look at them, to test them. And the organ was really the instrument that inspired Bach to be a composer.
For me, the Bach cello suites and hearing the solo cello, it's somehow as close as one can get to how a human brain and heart work. In fact, it was because of Bach that I started to rethink how I was presenting this music that I love so much. So much of Bach was premiered in coffee houses, and he even charged his employers for quite a few beers. And I knew that the music of Bach could reach any audience and could touch any audience and could survive any space. and somehow we had to go back to the sense of intimacy and humanity that was the basis, that is the basis of this music. I've taken it to so many different kinds of venues and different audiences. Stripping away, in a way, hundreds of years of tradition, of concert hall tradition that really didn't have anything to do with Bach and the way his music was performed.
Well, sometimes we tend to think of composers like Bach in very strict ways, and I think that the fact is that he would probably be more like a modern jazz musician than what we think of a contemporary composer, in the sense that this was music that was very much alive. For him, it was just making music, you know? I think this music is expressing something that we all feel, that we all have inside. Even people that are not necessarily classical music lovers or Bach lovers, if you manage to get really inside this music, it's overwhelming. there's probably no more intellectual form of music as a fugue, when you have this one line that's played and then it comes back again and it comes back again at a different level. I mean, it's a very simple way to explain it, but that's basically the beginning of what a fugue is. That's a very rational, intellectual, as intellectual as can be. And still, what he's able to do with India, the freedom that he finds, the emotions that it's what he does with those patterns that really, it's mind-blowing.
In 1717, the Duke, he sent Bach to jail. Bach, he was arrested in Weimar because he wanted to break a contract, and for 1 month he was in jail, incarcerated. When he was in jail, he decided to start the Weltrup de Clavier. So, the 1 month Bach spent in jail perhaps was the most important month in musical history. Yes, in my life, I had so many troubles. First, I lost my right hand. When I lost my right hand, I told myself, well, I can play with my left hand. I can do transcriptions. I can play the chaconne, the Brahms transcription. And then I lost my left hand too. And then I didn't know where could I go. At that time, I realized that I could conduct. And this was the importance of Bach in my life. He kept me alive. And today, if I can use only my song, I try to play some of his music. Bach with 2 notes, one on the right hand, the other in the left hand. He can build a cathedral. And this kind of experience for a young student, it's like magic for them. But you have to use something inside of yourself that you cannot explain. You cannot explain with words. You only can explain with the inspiration of your mind, with the inspiration of your heart.